about Halloween, also my favorite holiday. And in case you missed it, that would be today, the most spooktacular day of the year.
And in honor of it, we're getting a look inside a museum in Brooklyn, unlike any we've seen before. It's focusing on all things morbid. ABC's Will Ganss killed it with this one.
It's that time of year, and no matter how fast you run or how loud you scream, you can't escape.
I am Dracula.
The Halloween hijinks and morbid mayhem that October brings, especially here. We're here in Brooklyn at the Morbid Anatomy Museum, where folks have been dying to get in, some literally. But me, I've never felt more alive.
It's alive! It's alive! It's alive!
For most of us, skeletons and spooky stories are just a Halloween thing. But at the Museum of Morbid Anatomy, death is a year-round theme.
What we love all year round, everyone else loves for 1 month, and that month is October. So yes, we become very popular around this time.
Museum co-founder Joanna Ebenstein has done more than her fair share of digging when it comes to studying what happens after we go 6 feet under. Her fascination with death began a long time ago.
I was very lucky that my dad kind of wanted me to be a science geek, so he really encouraged this love for me. So he bought me formaldehyde to put dead animals in when I was a really little kid, and he also bought me my first taxidermy kit when I was like 14 or 15.
Fast forward a few years, and the museum was born, shining a new light on some dark subject matter.
What I hope people take away from visiting is to question our own attitudes about death. Not to say it's good or bad, but just through showing all of these objects and books that have all this information about the ways in which different people in different times and places have dealt with death, to urge people to question our own attitudes.
I certainly began questioning my own attitudes about death, probably when Joanna put a real human skull into my hands.
I am really freaking out that I'm holding this in my hands right now.
Take it?
Not that I'm like scared of it, I just can't believe that that's what just happened.
But that skull, which by the way belonged to an Indian man who died in the 30s, wasn't the only character I met at the museum.
I don't know if you guys have heard of something called Santa Muerta.
Does it mean Saint Death?
Yeah, it literally means saint or holy death, and this is a folk tradition that originated in Mexico. A female figure of death, kind of like a Grim Reaper, is worshipped as a saint. So she could be on an altar next to the Virgin of Guadalupe and other sorts of figures. It's seen by some people as satanic, but by practitioners, it's just seen as one of many saints or holy figures that can intercede on your behalf. This is a lot of people's favorite object in the entire museum. It is 2 ducklings, so together it is not really a 2-headed duckling.
So they weren't born like that?
They were not born like that.
In fact, blame it on the full moon or maybe some kind of enchantment, but after a while, I started acting like some of the museum's inhabitants. Safe to say there's something for every maturity level at the Museum of Morbid Anatomy, including those with an affinity for intellectual history and art, of the dead animal variety. One piece in particular stood out.
So this is the centerpiece of the exhibit. This is a piece called The Kitten's Wedding by a 19th century taxidermist, self-taught taxidermist named Walter Potter. It's 20 kittens engaged in a little wedding ceremony. This guy is pissed off because he thinks the bride is marrying the wrong kitten.
Despite being surrounded by dead kittens, by artwork made of human hair and human teeth for sale, like our favorite horror movies, I couldn't look away. But why? Why, especially this time of year, do we dare examine things we usually find so spooky?
I think there's a sense of mystery, a sense of a pleasure in the dark side, a sense of laughing at death.
Although I've yet to sign up for my first taxidermy class, and yes, the museum offers them, I was way less creeped out than I expected to be. From the Museum of Morbid Anatomy in Brooklyn, Will Ganss, ABC News.